Hi everyone, and welcome to HGS 725. I'm delighted to be your instructor for this course and hope that you'll find it to be challenging, educational, and an engaging learning experience. The content that we'll be covering utilizes several academic lenses, including but not limited to history, cultural studies, and gender studies, to help us understand both the breadth and the depth of our topic, a geographical approach to the study of the Holocaust. Now, this is an intensive course which covers a lot of material in a relatively short time period. Any of the topics we cover can certainly be the subject of its own individual course, drilling down to the nuances of how the Holocaust unfolded in various regions of Europe and beyond. We'll cover and discuss important works by scholars who have contributed to the historiography of the Holocaust, consider some of the academic debates that have informed our understanding of the Holocaust, and examine new trends and developments in academic research. Within the context of this topic, I hope that you will find at least one area of interest that will inspire you and whet your appetite for wanting to learn more about either a, a specific geographic region or even a group of regions. As the most documented and recorded case of genocide, so a bit about me. As my biography on the Graz. Hi everyone, and welcome to HGS 725. I'm delighted to be your instructor for this course and hope that you'll find it to be challenging, educational, and an engaging learning experience. The content that we'll be covering utilizes several academic lenses, including but not limited to history, cultural studies, and gender studies, to help us understand both the breadth and the depth of our topic, a geographical approach to the study of the Holocaust. Now, this is an intensive course which covers a lot of material in a relatively short time period. Any of the topics we cover can certainly be the subject of its own individual course, drilling down to the nuances of how the Holocaust unfolded in various regions of Europe and beyond. We'll cover and discuss important works by scholars who have contributed to the historiography of the Holocaust, consider some of the academic debates that have informed our understanding of the Holocaust, and examine new trends and developments in academic research. Within the context of this topic, I hope that you will find at least one area of interest that will inspire you and whet your appetite for wanting to learn more about either a, a specific geographic region or even a group of regions. As the most documented and recorded case of genocide, the topic of this course lends itself particularly well for comprehensive and concise understandings about the Holocaust. So a bit about me. As my biography on the Graz College website states, I earned my PhD at York University in Toronto, Canada, where I am also the managing director of the Neuberger Holocaust Education Center. I've also completed specialized study programs at the USHMM in DC, Royal Holloway in the UK, Yad Vashem in Israel, and the Vienna Wiesenthal Institute in Austria. I also served as a Canadian delegate to the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance from 2009 to 2013, and today I continue to serve as an external delegate to IRA's Grant Review Committee. I'm also an editorial board member of PRISM, an interdisciplinary journal for Holocaust educators, and my most recent publications include an article titled "The Limits of My Language Are the Limits of My World," using recorded testimonies of Holocaust survivors with English language learners, in Interactions, Volume 4, Video Testimonies, and a book chapter called Väterliteratur and Holocaust Narratives in Remembering the Holocaust in Educational Settings, and an article titled Post-Holocaust Jewish Masculinity in German-Speaking Europe in the Vienna Wiesenthal Institute's online journal, Simon. I look forward to getting to know each of you throughout the duration of this course, and if you have questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to be in touch. I generally respond to email within 24 hours unless I'm traveling or out of town, in which case I will certainly let you know in advance. The concept of this course. This course offers the opportunity to study the Holocaust through a geographical focus. On the syllabus, you'll notice that most weeks we will study a cluster of countries. Understanding how the Holocaust unfolded in each of these countries is one important goal of this course. However, I will also introduce, via several of the required readings, a relatively new interpretation of the phrase geographies of the Holocaust. Fairly recently, a group of scholars within the field of Holocaust studies have explored how spatial visualization contributes to our understanding of the Holocaust. These understandings can range from the visual mapping of the Nazi concentration camp network and how this appears when geographical borders are removed. The same methodology is also applied to ghettos and other formations of the Holocaust. Now, we will encounter this in week 2 and delve a little into the spatial interpretation of geographies as well. As mentioned earlier, this course is demanding, but it is representative of academic work at the PhD level. We also cover a lot of material in an accelerated period. This is both positive, as the pace can stimulate rich discussion and the development of new ideas about our topics, and it can also be challenging. We will be making use of numerous resources, academic articles, recorded testimonies of Holocaust survivors, and archival videos, documents, and photographs, which will require time and energy to complete in a timely manner. First, a word of caution. Please don't fall behind. This is stated in the syllabus, but it's worth repeating here. If you encounter a situation where you feel you may be falling behind, please let me know as soon as possible. It is imperative to stay on top of the readings, the discussion forum postings, and written assignments as we do progress rapidly through the 8 weeks. Because we must cover a large amount of territory, both academic and geographical, you may find that the required reading list is weighted a bit heavier in the beginning of the course. However, Doris Bergen has a clear and concise writing style, and her text, War and Genocide, should not be too onerous a read. Bergen also weaves in the experiences of individuals into her narratives to highlight the impact of various historical events or to demonstrate how individuals may have responded to the situations they encountered. It's a good example of one technique through which the voices of those who lived through the events of the Holocaust can be included in academic writing. The concept of this course. This course for its text. As mentioned, the text we are using, War and Genocide, A Concise History of the Holocaust, 3rd edition, is written by Professor Doris Bergen, the Chancellor Rose and Ray Wolfe Professor of Holocaust Studies at the University of Toronto. She has an encyclopedic knowledge and understanding of the Holocaust that is both nuanced and interdisciplinary. Professor Bergen is a member of the Academic Advisory Committee of the Center for Advanced Holocaust Studies at the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum in Washington, D.C., and she was also one of my dissertation supervisors. Her book delves into the breadth of the Holocaust, contextualizing the history with the experiences of Holocaust survivors and archival photographs. At the end of the book, she's included a rich bibliographical section that can be mined for your own specific areas of interest. Additional readings are supplied in the Moodle platform that will help us to drill down into some of the deeper and more nuanced layers of Holocaust history. Syllabus. You'll notice on the syllabus, as well as the structure of the course in the Moodle platform, that each week there are folders labeled Required Reading, Required Viewing, Suggested Reading, and Suggested Viewing. The required reading materials. These are, not surprisingly, essential for the course, especially for the discussions in the discussion forum, and they provide the foundational information for the course. The text is supplemented weekly with readings significant to the topic, often demonstrating recent additions to scholarship on the Holocaust or other scholarly viewpoints. Required viewing. Each week you'll notice that in addition to the required readings, there will be required viewing material. These include excerpts of Holocaust survivor recorded testimonies, the voices of those who experienced the historical events that we are studying. You'll also notice that these excerpts are from different collections and represent a variety of different interview styles. Some are excerpted from the USC Shoah Foundation's collection, which follow the traditional methodology of a single camera focused on the Holocaust survivor who is speaking. Others may be edited or have historical documents and photographs interwoven for visual effect. Some of the recordings were done in languages other than English, and therefore have English subtitles included. With few exceptions, these videos range in length between 3 and 7 minutes. When you are watching these short videos, note the various interview styles and production values and consider which techniques you find effective or lacking, as well as the advantages of using certain production values, such as background music, archival photographs, or editing 2 or more responses together. Also included in the weekly required viewing section is a short commentary by Professor Doris Bergen. As I was preparing the course material, I sat down with Doris for an informed and academic yet casual discussion on a series of topics. The recording was done without notes or script, and I hope you'll discover for yourself some of the enthusiasm with which Doris addresses each specific theme or question. As I mentioned, she was one of my dissertation supervisors, and one of the many things I learned from her was always to strive to speak to topics in an informed manner, drawing upon a variety of resources and materials which are then distilled into a logical, coherent, and robust manner. Another important tool I learned from Doris was to embrace an interdisciplinary approach to history and historical events. This means considering a topic from a variety of vantage points, looking for the nuances of a situation and incorporating a variety of historical sources such as photographs, documents, and oral history narratives while using the lenses of history, gender, and cultural studies to distill the information into concise, informed comments. I hope that you'll find her enthusiasm for the field of Holocaust studies and the depth of her knowledge to be as inspiring as I do. And I hope her commentary, together with the rest of our course material, will inspire our work in the discussion forum. The suggested materials. These complement the required readings, often going in depth into a particular area of the weekly topic. It is not mandatory that you read or view this material, but you may find it useful in exploring the viewpoint and research of contemporary scholars and a more nuanced understanding of important themes. I've included it as one way of enriching the learning experience and providing other sources for you to explore. How the course is structured. Before we get too far along, I'd like to review the way in which the course content is structured. First, you'll notice a folder which I call the reading room. In this section are 3 separate subfolders or shelves of resources that I've compiled for your use. For example, the journal shelf contains digital copies of PRISM, an interdisciplinary journal for Holocaust educators that's published by Yeshiva University. The journal is published annually and contains a rich and varied subject material including historical research, pedagogical methods, poetry, and essays, and cultural topics. Next, on the video shelf, you'll find several videos produced by the USHMM that visually demonstrate our theme, the geographies of the Holocaust. And finally, the bookshelf contains PDF versions of a few resources that represent contemporary scholarship. For example, several of the articles we cover in week 5, the neutral countries, have been taken from the publication Bystanders, Rescuers, or Perpetrators, which was published by the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, often known as IRA. The IRA has issued several open source academic publications, which are included on the digital bookshelf in case you want to explore other issues. The reading room is a completely optional resource area, and you're not required to use it. I've provided it simply as a means of sharing some new resource material that may be useful to you. Grading. To recap the grading for this course, which is also detailed in the syllabus, the breakdown is as follows. Forum participation, 30%. Oral testimony analysis, 10%. Book, video, or exhibit review, 10%. Historiography essay, which is the first essay, 20%. And the final essay, 30%. Now, the discussion forum is an important component to take part in. It's worth 30% of your total grade and is the area where we explore some of the big questions concerning geographies of the Holocaust, and it's the place for thoughtful, deep, meaningful discussion. The oral testimony analysis assignment is also important as it focuses on the voices of the survivors of the Holocaust. I believe the voice of the survivor is an important one. It can confirm historical events or alternately offer new insights, provide personal and familial details on what it was like to live through aspects of the Holocaust, and sometimes offer new perspectives historians may have overlooked. The review assignment is another practical, skills-based assignment. PhD candidates, as well as graduates, frequently contribute to academic, historical, and cultural journals by providing informed commentary on topics of current interest. Such reviews are a good way of introducing yourself to the field and being able to craft concise analytical reviews within a specific word count is a good practical skill for any academic. The two remaining assignments account for 50% of the final grade, 20% for the first essay and 30% for the final essay. And they are important for developing your academic writing style, concise, thoughtful writing that builds upon existing scholarship while offering fresh or interesting new perspectives and information is at the core of successful academic writing. This is detailed in the syllabus and will be reviewed in the course content ahead of the assignment due date. Now, one more topic that I'd like to cover before we move on to the readings this week, and that is working with this material and taking care of yourself. Learning about the Holocaust is not an easy task. As you know, the subject matter can be disturbing. Reading about some of the worst aspects of humankind is never pleasant nor easy, and I commend anyone who decides to tackle this area of academic study. There will, of course, be instances when we encounter glimpses of goodness in humanity. But overall, the narrative of the Holocaust is one of destruction and loss. You may notice that as an emergent theme that permeates this course as we go country by country, or in our case, clusters of countries, how the loss of human life, the destruction of Jewish life and community seems to go on and on as the Nazis solidify their grip on one European country after another. Combine this with the attitude of local collaborators and even bystanders of the so-called neutral countries, and the overall impression can be quite gloomy. So a few thoughts that I like to suggest to all students that I work with are on the following slide. First, keep in mind that the Holocaust was not inevitable. In other words, it did not have to turn out the way it did. There were points along the way in which other countries or organizations could have intervened and prevented the tragedy from happening. Understanding that it was not inevitable means we as citizens of a country have the ability to effect change and to intervene when called upon to do so. During the Evian conference, the nation-states of the world were asked to help with a specific refugee problem, Jews trying to escape Nazi persecution. The answer for the most part was no. But knowing and understanding that events are not inevitable means that we do have and can exert some form of control over them. Next, we will discuss issues of brutality, of methods of killing human beings that include the industrialization of killing. And we learned that at the end of the Holocaust, 2 out of every 3 Jews who had been living in Europe had been killed. Some of you may find the materials disturbing, which is completely understandable, and really means that you have empathy with the victims. However, try not to read the materials before going to bed. It might affect your sleep, or you may not feel relaxed enough to get a good night's sleep. Don't underestimate the cumulative effect that can sometimes develop from being immersed in materials about one of the darkest periods in human history. Try and break up your readings as much as possible. Even if it is just to change from one reading area to another, do a few stretching exercises or go for a walk. Try and break up your reading with an activity or movement of some type. It is a simple technique, but it does help to keep your focus, and we generally retain information better when we absorb it in smaller segments. And a final thought, you can discuss your reactions to the readings and the materials we will be covering. Questioning is an important part of the learning process. When I look at archival photographs from specific scenes or events, I still ask myself why some people reacted the way they did, why some people felt it was acceptable to humiliate others, why some people embraced anti-Semitism and acted on it, while others did not. There are no easy answers to any of these questions, but that does not mean that we should not engage with them. If you find some topics or readings difficult, I encourage you to work through them and let me know if I can help you understand or process the material. Of course, we do that in the discussion forum, but it's still good to be aware that some of this material can be difficult to work through. So now that we've covered this foundational information, let's move on to this week's content, the Third Reich in Germany.